You must be very curious, number one. Number two, you must be very analytical. Then number three is that you need to have an understanding of programming languages that are best to work with in the field of data analytics. Speaking of SQL, speaking of Python, we have the healthcare, we have the business, we have the finance, we have the production, we have the manufacturing, we have several of them. But you need to now understand, okay, am I a person that I am so interested in the healthcare space, or a person that I just love to do that research, okay, or is it that I just want to be in that banking sector or a fintech sector, so that this will help you guide how you should start your learning curve, rather, you understand. So let's say in data analytics, right, you take a picture of a cat, okay, and you give it to a data analyst rather, to tell the features of the cat. It tells you it has whiskers, it has 2 ears and all those stuff, right? But a data scientist will go as far as taking different pictures of different cats, right, and then go ahead a step further to now train a model or a machine rather to be able to identify a cat when it sees one. In every other aspect, data is centralized, meaning that it's always coming from a particular source or it's being controlled by a source. But in the world of blockchain, the reverse is the case. Data is for everybody. Data comes from everybody. Data is not from one particular person.
So before you go ahead and watch this episode of the Tech Culture Show, one of the things that I would like you to do for me is to just like this video. There are a lot of people that watch these videos, but they just watch this video without just paying us our own homage, which is like to just like the video. So I'd like you to just do that now. Just click the like button and hit the subscribe button as well. It is one of the things that helps YouTube know that this video is very useful and more people are going to see this video.
Today we're going to be talking more about data analytics and data science. This has been a long time in the making, and of course the whole world is buzzing about data, and I have someone fantastic right here that's going to be talking to us about data analytics in the person of Tunde. Now, Tunde is my very good friend, and he's also our tutor at Digital Skills School. He's a very, very talented data analyst and data scientist, but he's also talented in so many other aspects. For the first time I discovered I was a Yoruba man, I said, from which breed? Because I know that Yoruba people are not always fair. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit biased, but this guy is so handsome. And let me throw shades now. Yoruba men are not very handsome. So I just wanted to give you kudos for being so fine. And I'm so happy that you're on our show. Thank you so much for coming on the Tech Culture.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Tell us, I want to start with your software development days. How did you make that switch from being a software developer into data science? Was it that software development was boring for you? I mean, using a language like framework like C++, right? People don't easily move from that into something else. So tell us a little bit about that phase of your life.
Okay, yeah, well, that phase of my life was based on curiosity. Not that software development was boring, right? And I would say software development was my first love in programming, right? Because that was the first, tech field I went into, right? And for me, it held a lot of interest. It was something that was, how will I put it, like pushing boundaries for me. And I'm the kind of person that likes, going beyond the limits, just because of the fact that it gets my interest every single time. But then, along the period of 6 months into software development, right, and already like building some projects on it, I discovered data analytics through a friend. And nothing pushed me into that field except for curiosity. I was just curious. And how did that happen? The person sent the flyer to me, and for every other tech field that was there, product management, what's it called? Web development, other type of common tech fields that were there. So I was just like, okay, this is common. Yeah. And then I got to data analytics and I'm like, what is data analytics? Mm-hmm. And the person was like, have you not heard of it? And I said, I haven't heard of something like that before. And, from there I just went to check the outline, see what programming languages were under it. And, from there I just like, I'll sign up for this. And, that happened.
So has it been so far?
I would say it has been the best ever, right? If I was to wake up and, be asked that question, would you like to, move into another tech field? I would say no. Absolutely. And the reason why is because of the fact that, for me, right, something something very special about me, sorry, is that I believe so much in conviction. I believe so much in, not so much in passion, but so
Yeah.
much in conviction. For me, conviction does more than passion because I can get tired tomorrow. But when I'm really convicted about a thing, if I'm really convinced that it's this or not or nothing else, I'm always focused on it and I'm always going out for it.
So right now, there's a lot of buzz about data analytics. It
Yeah.
has become popular now, as opposed to when you got into it. Now everywhere is data analytics, data science. Everybody's rushing to learn data analytics. Data analytics class at the Digital Skills School is basically the fullest class. Right?
Mhm.
People are coming on site, people are coming online.
Yeah.
So just explain to us what data analytics is all about generally, and then why is there a buzz about it now as of 2024, 2025 world?
All right. So if I'm going to put a layman definition to it, right, I would say data analytics is basically you looking at a fact and then being able to tell about the information surrounding that fact. Basically, I could be looking at this mic, right, and I can tell about the details of this mic. Okay, and in a case whereby you're looking at a company's data or whatever it is, say sales data, financial data and all that stuff, you're not just looking at the numbers or the figures or the detail or the what's it called, the individuals or whatever entities are around it. You're looking at okay, if this were to increase by 20%, what will be the result? If this were to be reduced, if this output or if this production was to triple by this, what would be the result?
Okay.
And then that is where the analytical part of it tends to come in. So that is just data analytics. I wouldn't want to use the whole Google definition of what data is all about, because that's when people get confused about. So is analyzing this, using techniques to solve this, and blah blah blah, and all that stuff.
Too complicated grammar.
Yes, thank you. And then the buzz around data analytics. Now, the surprising thing about data analytics is that it has not been around from a recent age. It has been from the 90s.
Okay.
But it's just that people are just discovering it now.
Now, yeah.
People are just seeing the importance of it now. And why are people seeing the importance of it now? That is because of the advancements of the digital space. So there's no how you want to go digital without having data to work with. So say for instance, right, let's say a streaming, website, right? And then you want to okay, what kind of shows can we be bringing on our shows and all that stuff. You can get to know that when you see the amount of views you're having on a particular
Specific
shows, yeah. And then if you see that, okay, this particular horror, genre of movies, really selling, then let's, bring in more movies that would be in that same genre too. And then they're like, it will help us. So I think that's one of the reasons why there's a lot of buzz around it these days. And a misconception about it, which is still causing that same buzz, is that people think it's easy. A lot of people try to go to no shades to people in no code, but I get the fact that you're trying to make things easy.
Yeah.
You want to get to learn things faster, but people fall into that misconception of data analytics is easy. We just drag and drop. We're just going to display visualization of data. And you go to Twitter, you just see people with different dashboards, and you just be like,
Oh,
the
that's
list
nice.
is endless, and the whole colors and everything like that. But it goes way beyond that. It goes way beyond that. When you get into the company's environment, you now start discovering that data analytics is not what people say it is outside. So when you are in that company, when you are being, when you're working with data from the marketing, from the production, from the management, from the finance, and you are like to keep up with the trend, you're like to keep up with making sure that your patterns, your insights, everything is very, very versatile, that can be able to build the company's growth and all that stuff. I mean,
the major people who use data are businesses. Of course, maybe there are other people that might want to use it, but the main essence of data is to actually see what's happening behind the scenes in your
Definitely.
business. What are practical steps a business owner can take to start using data? So let's say I run a business, maybe I have 20 employees, I could use, let me say, children's shoes or something. How can I use data to grow my business?
All right. There will be a step or like a series of steps to achieving such. The first is that as a business owner, right, you need to identify key metrics, right? You don't just wake up and just be like, oh, let me start one business, let me start selling this thing, and then I'll make profits. No, you need to start something based off of there's a particular goal or target you are aiming for. Now, this is the first crucial step because this is what will enable you to start working with data.
If you is a goal.
Yes, you need to find out goal. Oh, is it that in the first 3 months I want to make at least 20% of this, profit, or is it that in the next 6 months I want to sell at least 50 products and all that stuff. Now, when you have your metrics, right, this would enable you to now collect your data, right? In the sense that you can now start thinking of, oh, I need to, open up a spreadsheet whereby I'm entering the names of customers I'm having every day. Say, entering the names of products I'm selling per day, the price and the returns or like the leftovers and all those stuff, the purchase and all that, and then the locations I'm heading to, sell these things and all those stuff. So when you collect all those data, right, the next thing you now need to do is to now like figure out a data analyst to come help you analyze your data, right? And from this particular point is whereby you can get to know what next step is best for you to take. So you will just be making decisions based off of assumptions. Where I feel like this place was very good and let me keep going there. And you wouldn't know that that period was probably like you said, selling children's shoes and all that stuff. Let me just generalize, shoes, right? This is the rainy season. So basically shoes might not really have a very good selling period. Yeah, and then you wouldn't think of that, but the data analyst would be like, oh, this particular period of you selling these shoes. This was the Hamatan, or like the period whereby shoes were going to be needed the most. But this is the period whereby selling leather shoes is going to be a no. So you have to not push into that aspect. So and from there you can be able to start working with data as a business owner.
So what is a career path for a data analyst? So I'm new to data analysis. I've been hearing about it and I want to get into data analytics.
Yeah.
What is a career path? Like what are some of the things I should learn?
Okay.
I can do to become a data analyst.
Okay, yeah, about that. Okay, a lot of people have come up with different theories on how you can become a data analyst. Some will tell you start from the end, then take it back to the top. Some tell you start from the top, take it to the end. But I would work with what one of my role models in tech did say, which is Steve Jobs. He said, as a product manager, okay, you don't start with the tech, then move to the products or to the needs of the customers. Because a lot of people are, this tech is very good. This AI stuff, it does this, it does that. You are so focused on the product that you are not even thinking about, is this what the user would even need, right? And then bringing that ideology into this question that you just asked, right, is that first of all, you need to understand that in data analytics, there has to be a form of mindset, which is you are seeking information. That's the first thing. You must not be tired of seeking information. If you are a person that you're like, oh, I think I have had enough, you might probably not be, going all out in the field of data analytics. You must be very curious, number one. Number two, you must be very analytical. Then number three is that you need to have an understanding of the programming languages that are best to work with in the field of data analytics. Speaking of SQL, speaking of Python. Although a lot of people will tell you that leave SQL for the gods, Python is the way and all those stuff, which I get because of the fact that Python is a much more common tool to analyze data, and probably it's quite easier than SQL. So apart from that, you need to now look at what particular field in the industry can I get that analytical career going. We have the healthcare, we have the business, we have the finance, we have the production, we have the manufacturing, we have several of them. But you need to now understand, okay, am I a person that I am so interested in the healthcare space, or a person that I just love to do that research, okay, or is it that I just want to be in that banking sector or a fintech sector, so that this will help you guide how you should start and start your learning curve, rather, you understand. So once you're able to figure that out, once you're able to research that, the next step is to now look for, okay, what are the things that would make me suffice as a data analyst in this particular field. So if you're going to be a business analyst or research analyst or whatever analyst you're going to become, you are going to be able to get that sorted out from the point of doing such research Yeah, and starting from, oh, okay, this is how it's meant to be. And from there, you can now start looking at, okay, what are now the tech stack I need to start pushing myself into?
Yeah.
Because for different fields, right, they might necessarily not use all the tech, or the old programming stuff.
Yeah.
Some you see them, they tell you, oh, we are based on using Excel. Some will tell you, oh, we use SQL and Python. Some will tell you, if you don't know this particular one, you can't work with us and stuff like that. So, that's just how it is.
I guess my next question now is what are some of the job titles in the field of data? I know that there's data analysis, there's data science. So, okay, I think before we get into the job titles, let's go a little bit about differentiating between the two, data analytics, data analysis, and data science. Just give us a bit of differentiation, if there is, or if they are basically the same thing.
There's a big differentiation, right, between the two. And what's the difference? The simple difference is that in one, okay, you are working with data that is available. But in the other one, you are working with data that is available or not available. That is, the first is data analytics. Okay. Now, as in data analytics, right, you are just, making sure that you analyze raw facts to get information. You're trying to figure out, okay, what is the trend of this from Q1 to Q3? What is the pattern that can inform our business decisions for the next financial year and all those kind of things. That is how data
available information.
With available information, thank you. So, and then for data science, it's more of that and also an upgrade of that same ideology of data analytics. So you are working with information that is readily available, number one. And then number two is that you don't just bring out insights from such data. Now you're making that data work in a way that it can predict for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In the sense that you can now train the data. So say for instance, now you collect, let's say in data analytics, right? You take a picture of a cat, okay? And you give it to a data analyst rather to tell of the features of the cat. It tells you it has whiskers, it has 2 ears and all those stuff, right? But a data scientist will go as far as, taking different pictures of different cats,
mm-hmm.
right? And then go ahead a step further to now train a model or a machine rather
mm-hmm.
to be able to identify a cat when it sees one.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case now, you wouldn't necessarily have to be the one in that position of analyzing. Now you have trained a machine to be able to do that. And this is mostly because of the fact that when you start working with large industries, okay, you would not even have that time to start sitting down
analyzing the data. You build something that enables you to analyze it. Oh.
You build something that helps you to analyze it. Hence the advent of this AI rush and all those kind of things. We want something that will be able to read documents, do this, do that. We want something that if you upload this particular PDF to look at everything and tell you that, oh, this is what you should work on. This is what you should not work on. Instead of having to sit down with it and now start let me start doing rows and columns and all those kind of things. The whole manual process of everything.
Okay, so data science is basically more advanced.
Yes.
What are some of the job roles in the field of data science from the beginners level to the advanced level?
Okay, from the beginners level, right, I'd say you're going to always start as a data analyst because at this point now you're not really specifying the field that you're working or industry you're working in, right? And then from there you can now start looking at, do I want to pivot into being a financial analyst or a business analyst or a research analyst? So these are those fields that you get to mostly start from. And then from here, if you're not going to take it up a step further into the data science world, you now start having your machine learning engineers, you now start having the data engineers, then you now start having people that are mostly based on AI. So we call them the AI specialists, people that make sure that they build large learning models, the LLMs and all that stuff. So that's how it keeps going. And then
those are the career paths. You have data analysts, you have business analysts, you have research analysts, you have finance analysts, you have
machine learning engineers, the data
engineers,
the AI specialists.
Wow, AI specialists. Yeah. Are we going to ever have enough hands? Are there enough hands in data? So should more people come into the field of data? Because a lot of people are learning data analytics. A lot of people are saying that, because people are learning it too much, very soon it will fade out. The value will be reducing. There's so many people there. Is that true? Or there's nothing like that? More people should learn data at every level.
Thing is that data science is, something that helps a society to grow more, right? Because if you look at all these countries that are advanced, you can see that is a reasonable advancement in their data science field, which they don't used to play at all, right? I get the fact that people might say, oh, data science is quite complex. Oh, it takes a longer time to learn it. You are confused about it and all those kind of things. But the thing is that the same way data analytics came out and people were not really moving into it, and then all of a sudden we just start seeing that rush. The same way data science now is, having that same approach. So people are just like, let's just leave.
Let's take the easy one.
Yeah, let's take the easy one. But the thing is that at some point, right, data science is going to also have that same level of, popularity and attraction like data analytics does have. So by that period, you don't want to be, found, in somewhere else that, you're not really like putting all that you can.
Yeah, you're not ready for it.
Yes. So
I guess one of the reasons why people feel it's saturated is mostly because of the fact that a lot of Nigerian companies have not yet seen the need. They have not woken up to the realization that they need data. Because there are a lot of companies in Nigeria. There are lots of companies.
Yes.
Right? But most of them are not using data. They're not hiring data analysts because they're not using data. If every company works to hire data analysts, you will see that what you see in LinkedIn, that you just see maybe 10 jobs, right? It would increase exponentially. But most companies have not yet come to the realization that they need to even gather data. They need to start analyzing data in order to make proper decisions. So I believe that it's just like you said, it's the environment, the business climate here. Most companies are not. I want to believe that if a lot of their top companies here are being run by young people, they'll probably see the need, right, for data analytics, for data analysts, for data scientists to be in their system. I mean, we've had a very interesting conversation here at the studio, and I want to talk about you personally because you're a very interesting personality and he's very, very humble, but he's actually very, 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 very talented. I know that you said it already that you were building software with C++, and then you came into data analytics and data science. I know personally that you're also into blockchain. You're also into video production. You edit videos very, very well. I mean, like, what's going on? Why is there so much things happening? Why are you acquiring all these skills? Is it boredom? Is it that you just easily get tired of things and you move on to the next thing?
Okay.
Or how does this all connect?
Okay. Well, I would say this was a big influence from two people, basically. That's the first is Leonardo da Vinci, and the second is my dad.
Okay.
In terms of Leonardo da Vinci, right, he's an artist, he's a painter, he's a mathematician, he's an architectural, person, and he does almost all those things back then, engineering and all that stuff.
Even in the field of biology.
Even in the field of biology also too. And when I got to read more about why I was able to see it, like it was because of the fact that he saw a need to play a part in that aspect. Right. There's a particular saying that Einstein said. He said, "What bothers you the most is what you should, be working on or make a solution to whatever it is that that this is a problem. Is where you should, it's maybe if you don't really have that, responsibility of I need to solve that thing, then you may not necessarily like look into it." Same thing for my dad also too, right? He's a person that passed through the engineering school, so he does a lot of things in the engineering space, right? And growing up and always being coached to work with him in one or two things. Today I'm going to this place, so let's go. And that period again, maybe the generator is faulty, and Sunday in those tools. And that period again, the pipe is another period, the kitchen. Like, how is he doing all these things? And it's like, okay, these things that he does, right? It was because of the fact that there's a need, or like there's a desire or an urge to pay, attention to these things. So when he sees that those things are there, before he would rather say, I want to call on someone to do something, even if he can't solve that thing, he would just prefer to know about it. So even if someone comes along, he's able to now explain to the person that this is
the problem you should solve.
And one way somehow, because of the growth in that aspect, and because of the fact that I read a lot of books on those Leonardo da Vinci's and all that, one way or the other, it started influencing, which I was not aware of until I got into school. So during my first year was when I entered into software development, because I knew nothing about
first year of university.
My first year of university.
Wow.
So I entered into software development because I knew nothing about programming, right? And the funny thing was that I was even like the the dullard in the programming class because everybody else knew about it, they understood about it. But because of the fact that I kept an open mind, I was able to join into that. And then moving forward into the second year, data analytics came in, which I saw as okay, this is not common, and I got curious about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then something else that makes me like juggle in between these skills is because of the fact that I enjoy doing them. I find peace in doing these things, right? Video editing came as per one of my friends back then in 300 level. He wanted to shoot a music video. So his other friend helped him with his iPhone. And then the question of who will edit came. And then I was the only one that had a laptop amongst them. And then the one who recorded the video said, "Oh, please help me download the software. So on Monday, we'll make use of it." So going home, downloading the software, naturally I'll be the person that will just download and leave it there. But I was like, let me even see what this
thing. To use it.
And that was VSDC. Right? I opened it and I was like, I just tried one or two. I went to YouTube. Then I just sat down. I just found out that I spent hours that particular weekend on it. And before I knew it, the following week, I said, let me edit this video. And then from there, he told me, okay, how I should go about it and all that stuff. And that was when the COVID, period also came. So that was like a privilege for me to put myself into video editing, into data analytics, into data science, because I had a lot of time to play around with, which I spent months, just burying myself into this particular.
And then tell us the story behind the blockchain.
Yeah, the blockchain came as an aftermath of school period. And why did it come in? Because I was always curious about what kind of role data has to play. It's quite interesting that data is almost in every, not almost, it's in every field, basically. And then in blockchain, data is now like playing in another dimension, in the sense that we all know that data is centralized. In every other aspect, data is centralized, meaning that it's always coming from a particular source or it's being controlled by a source. But in the world of blockchain, the reverse is the case. Data is for everybody. Data comes from everybody. Data is not from one particular person. So I was not trying to figure out, okay, fine, since data is having this kind of dimension, and because of my long-term goal to, pivot blockchain, although there are some applications of blockchain and data science which are, happening out there, not popular, but it's already happening. So because of my long-term goal to be able to, build a sort of infrastructure here in this country, because a lot of people I see these days, and a lot of companies and all that stuff, I still see us being going out there to get the infrastructure to run whatever tech like we have here, and we don't have our own infrastructures. So these are part of the things that makes me want to be like, okay, let me go into this, let me go into that. Even if I can't be all of them, I have people I associate with in that line, so that we are trying to build towards that dream, build towards that goal.
You are currently watching The Boys, the series The Boys. I want to understand what The Boys is all about.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before anyway.
For those who know about The Boys, will probably be smiling right about now because The Boys is, how would I put it? Everybody has this common idea based on what we've been shown, that superheroes are good people. Superheroes are people that, they are all perfect. They are angels. They can never go wrong and things like that. Right? The whole Superman, Captain America, and all that stuff. But now in The Boys, right, this is a series that is now focusing on the personal lives of superheroes themselves. Okay. Apart from wearing their caped clothes and all those stuff, what do they go back home to do? Right? What are the things that, give them the decision to be like this today or be like that tomorrow? What are the scandals? What are the, the things that they are hiding in their cupboard, right? So The Boys now focuses on a world whereby superheroes have personal lives. Now, The Boys are a set of people, humans, right, that have a personal vendetta against the superheroes. And that's because of what? One way or the other, each superhero has done something to hurt them in one way or the other. You have, like say for instance, you have Superman train cars and all those kind of things. Like I'm just talking about a different, like Justice League now. You have him train cars, smashing into buildings, but nobody's really looking at as he was smashing into that building, who was there, who is dying, who was being forgotten. Every one of them has one personal vendetta or the other against those superheroes. So it's like a race of bringing those superheroes down. Right? Not necessarily that they have something against people that do good, superheroes and all that, but they just have something against the fact that these people are not always perfect as we always think they are. Right. So that's just what the Boys series is.
Well, anyway, we used to have high five at
Okay.
the end of every episode, and thank you so much to Tunde.
Yeah.
High five. Thank you so
Glad
much
to be here.
for coming on the Tech Culture podcast this morning. And guys, I hope you've learned a lot from the particular episode of the Tech Culture podcast. We talked about everything data analytics, data science, the career path, the business of data science, and all that. And I hope that you're going to watch this episode and share this episode with someone that might be interested in the field of data. And I hope to see you on the very next episode.